Beans, let's start with Daredevil, and you go first.
All right. Well, my Daredevil one is it's kind of been done, but it kind of hasn't been done.
Okay.
So I said I like the idea of giving Daredevil a spot on the Avengers, but in a leadership role.
Ooh,
so,
okay. Well, Captain
look,
Daredevil.
Right. So he's had like the Defenders, right?
Yep.
Street level, but they're very street level esque. Okay. Then you've also had him with like the Marvel Knights, where you've had like him with like Moon Knight and him with Punisher, or they were trying to get the Punisher at first, from what I read on Wikipedia today.
He's had very like little sustainability in terms of being in the group.
Right. Yeah. So I would like to see him take on like maybe not even a Batman role with the Avengers. I would say more of like a Green Arrow role.
Okay.
If you remember Justice League Unlimited, that was Green Arrow's role, was to keep the Justice League grounded.
Right.
If you think about the Avengers as a whole, do they have somebody that can keep them grounded?
Very rarely.
Captain America, sure. But at the same time...
He's always had a global outlook.
Right. Yeah. So you have him. You have Tony. You always have these like fighting over power.
Yeah. Spider-Man like doesn't want to be taken seriously.
He also doesn't want to be in the Avengers, really. He's worried about friendly neighborhood.
Yep.
New York. He was, and Spider-Man was on the New Avengers, but again, that was kind of street level-esque almost.
And he's not a leader. He's a great teammate. You love having him.
He can be
if
he wants,
right?
But
yes, he rarely wants to be.
That's
the
true.
thing. He just rarely wants to be, especially in that context. When he's around the big hitters, he's like, I'm going to defer, and that's okay.
So I would just like to see Daredevil take up this like mantle almost. Of like a kind of like a Nick Fury, but he still is like getting in the mix of things. Just to like. Again, keep people grounded. I think he's a very down-to-earth, realistic dude. And I don't think the Avengers are always thinking about what's going on the ground level.
No. Too often they kind of drift towards the Illuminati side.
Right.
Where they're looking too big and too deep. And it's like, okay, now you're meddling in what you shouldn't be meddling with. Things like time. Like, don't mess with time.
How about the guy that's running the bodega who just wants to get the bread out and have a sandwich for the next person?
Take care of the little man, please. I am that man. Take care of me.
We need to do this in the least destructive way possible, right? You're going to let the Hulk just do whatever? I don't think that's smart. So that's kind of what I'd like to see out of Daredevil.
I like that a lot.
So that is mine. Get
him on the Avengers. Get him in a role of some influence there.
Yes. So there you go.
It's fantastic. Yeah, for my guy Daredevil, this is a bit of a pot of chili of what I want for Daredevil. Okay, first ingredient is I want to sprinkle in a little stability and remove some drama. Okay?
Oh, amen to that. I'm with that.
Yeah, and so listen, some people like putting a lot of random stuff in chili. One thing that I don't typically care for in chili is olives, and sometimes people will drop olives in chili. I'm like, why'd you do that? That didn't add anything beneficial. At best, I'm able to taste the rest of the chili and ignore the olive flavor almost entirely.
Did you cut these people out of your life immediately?
100%. No longer associate my life.
I would agree. That's a smart move.
Yeah, there's so many better things you could put
in chili.
Oh, tough.
I've never even heard of that.
Nor do you want to. Okay, so let's take the olive out of the Daredevil chili. Okay, and in particular, what I mean by that is this is not a character who is made more engaging or is more interesting to follow by the relational drama. Okay, doesn't help, particularly for the sake of the women in his life. They keep getting freaking killed.
True.
It's genuinely awful. Okay, so Karen Page dead, Elektra dead, and then brought back to life, but not in a really like happy, oh good, she's back kind of way. No, she's just angrier and
forgot everything that happened beforehand.
Yeah, totally forgot everything that happened.
Murder, kill.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank on Michael Bendis's run of Daredevil, which is some of the best stuff you could read. So highly recommend. This is post Karen Page, post Daredevil. Post Elektra, dying, and Matt Murdock starts a relationship with a blind woman. So it's like, hey, this should actually this should work, right? and yet it doesn't work. She gets caught up in all the Daredevil shenanigans and she just goes crazy. It's like, these are bad outcomes for these people. I don't want that for them.
Yeah, I can't go bad every time.
No, I want what has happened with, at times, and then of course it gets fudged up because, time bullets and those kind of comic shenanigans. But for Peter Parker and Mary Jane, it's like, it's better when they're just together and there's that domestic bliss element. Like, Spider-Man is still a phenomenal character. It's like, this is a good conclusion of that thread. It's not just this perpetual soap opera crap. That's what I want for Daredevil. Give him some stability. Because you know what would help Daredevil, like, flesh his character out a little bit? Have him have a little Daredevil running around there, right? Maddie is a dad. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to see it. And now there's added the classic comic incentive of the hero has to keep his identity safe in order to keep his family safe. Who doesn't love that kind of legit drama and tension that can be brought? What if Kingpin were to find out, it's not just Matt Murdock, but now he's got Mrs. Murdoch and Lil Murdoch running around? I think that would be a nice simultaneous add of stability and classic superhero tension of, you got to keep the family safe.
Okay, here's a question for you. Mm-hmm. Who's a bigger turd? Mm-hmm. Okay, the son or daughter of Elektra and Daredevil, or Damian Wayne?
Yeah. To be very clear, this scenario that I'm playing out would have either Karen Page or someone like her.
Someone more calm.
Murdoch's right.
Yeah,
right.
no,
Matt Murdoch's
makes
like
sense.
A lot less murdery than the Elektra, or to your point, the Talia al Ghul. It's like, that's not the direction we're desiring.
That kid is going to murder out of the womb.
And you think of how, and here's the last thing I'll say on this topic, right? Matt's relationship with his dad is one of the most impactful ways in which his character was shaped, right? And I don't mean the Daredevil persona in particular, but I just genuinely mean Matt Murdock's character. When his dad decided to not, sorry, spoilers if you don't know the origin story, when his dad decided not to throw the fight that the mob boss insisted that he throw as the boxer, and instead he fought legitimately, won, and then was murdered by this mobster for not following through and throwing the fight. That shaped Matt in a big way. So now you put Matt in the dad role, and it draws all the way back into that history of Matt's relationship with his dad, how critical that was for his development. There's all kinds of great storytelling opportunities that can come from that. And so what I've been disappointed by is, since Michael Bendis, and this has been a couple decades now, wrapped up his run on Daredevil, Mark Waid had a little piece in there where he tied off some threads that Bendis had left. But they've just essentially gone dark Daredevil, where he's just been more of an anti-hero. He just hasn't been put in a spot to succeed. And I think this is the missing ingredient for the Daredevil chili. Get rid of the olives.
Agreed.
There you go. There's my Daredevil take.